Your person betrayed you at a time when your love for them was pure, selfless, and deeply spiritual. You weren't just emotionally connected, you were protecting them on a soul level, offering a love that transcended the ordinary. You saw them not just as a partner, but as someone whose spirit you were meant to nurture and uplift. Yet, instead of cherishing that rare devotion, they turned away, blinded by fear, ego, and confusion. Now, their energy feels heavy and sorrowful, weighed down by regret and the painful realization that they failed to value the one person who truly saw and loved them for who they were. At the time, your love was genuine and unconditional, and you poured your heart into the connection. You gave without expectation, trusted without hesitation, and offered loyalty even when they didn't seem to deserve it. But while you were giving, they were holding back. They allowed their insecurities and selfish tendencies to dominate the relationship, making it seem as though the bond was one-sided. Deep down, they knew they were acting like a coward, too afraid to confront their emotions, too prideful to admit their flaws, and too trapped in their own illusions to see the truth. Their behavior stemmed from a place of emotional immaturity, where fear masqueraded as indifference and avoidance disguised itself as strength. When you finally had enough, when you chose to walk away and reclaim your energy, it shocked them. They never expected you to let go so firmly, because in their mind, you were the constant, the one who would always be there no matter what. But when you withdrew your presence and stopped feeding their ego with your attention, the silence became deafening. It was in that emptiness that they began to feel the very pain you once carried. Suddenly, the tables turned. The emotional torture, the sleepless nights, the longing, and the ache that once consumed you, all of it found its way to them. They were now in your place, forced to confront the depth of what they had lost and the magnitude of the bond they had taken for granted. What haunts them most is the realization of how powerful this soul connection truly is. No matter how far they try to run or how distracted they try to become, the memory of your love lingers like a constant echo. They can feel your energy even when you're miles apart, and it reminds them of how deeply you once cared. They now understand that your connection was never superficial, it was spiritual, transformative, and rooted in truth. You were the mirror they didn't know they needed, reflecting both their beauty and their darkness back to them. You were too real for them. Your honesty, your depth, your emotional intelligence, it all terrified them. They were living a life of illusions, building their world around appearances, status, and external validation. You, on the other hand, lived from the heart. You saw beyond their surface and straight into their soul, and that kind of authenticity was something they weren't ready to face. They feared that if you saw their true self, the parts of them they kept hidden behind charm, success, or reputation, you would walk away. Ironically, it was their fear of losing you that pushed them to behave in ways that eventually caused exactly that. Despite their flaws, your love for them was never based on material things. You didn't care about their wealth, their status, or their public image. You loved them for their soul, the essence beneath all the noise and pretense. You recognized their pain, their potential, and the light buried under their wounds. Your love was healing, transformative, and real. But they mistook your purity for weakness, thinking your kindness meant you would never leave. They failed to understand that your love was strong, but so was your self-respect. When they crossed that final line, you chose yourself. Now, they live with the consequences of that choice. They are haunted by the memory of your presence, the warmth of your words, the calm in your energy, the unwavering loyalty you once offered. Every time they try to move on, they find traces of you in everything. Songs, scents, and quiet moments all remind them of what they lost. The emotional breakdown they are going through mirrors the pain you once endured. The same confusion, loneliness, and heartache you faced are now theirs to bear. This time, they are the ones yearning for understanding and forgiveness, while you have found strength in solitude. The realization of their mistakes has hit them hard. They see now how arrogant, selfish, and foolish they were. Their pride led them to believe that love like yours could be replaced or forgotten, but now they know it cannot. They are ashamed, not just for how they treated you, but for how little they understood the depth of your love. They are awakening to the truth that not every connection is meant to be replicated, and not every soul offers that kind of unconditional devotion. In your absence, they've begun to evolve. The pain of losing you has become their greatest teacher. They're being forced to confront their own shadows and reflect on who they were when they had you. They see now that love is not about control, ego, or appearances, it's about vulnerability, trust, and respect. They finally understand that your love was never meant to confine them, but to free them from their own emotional chains. And while they are burdened with regret, you have found your peace. You've transformed the pain into wisdom, the heartbreak into healing. You've realized that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. And though they may now see your worth clearly, it's a lesson that came too late. They are left in the shadow of their own mistakes, while you stand in the light of your growth. You have always had my back through everything, standing by me when no one else did and believing in me even when I doubted myself. You were my biggest supporter, my strength, and the person who made me feel that no matter how chaotic life became, I had someone who truly understood me. Now that we are apart, everything feels different, hollow in a way that words can't quite describe. I find myself overwhelmed by a confusing mix of guilt and sadness, wondering constantly if I failed to love you the way you truly deserved. It's not that I didn't love you, I did, deeply, but maybe I didn't know how to show it in the way you needed. As time passes, that guilt keeps growing heavier on my heart. I look back and realize how many moments I took for granted, times when I could have been kinder, more attentive, more patient. I replay our memories in my head, and I can see now that I sometimes let my pride or fears get in the way of being fully present for you. It hurts to think that I might have disappointed you, that I didn't stand up to the expectations you had of me or the love you offered so freely. Every day apart has given me time to reflect, and in that silence, I've faced my mistakes more honestly than I ever did before. You have no idea what I would give to have another chance with you, to hold your hand again, to look into your eyes, and to make things right. There have been so many moments when I've wanted to reach out, to text you, call you, or even just send a small message to ask how you're doing. But every time I try, fear holds me back. I feel a lump in my throat, afraid of what you might say, or worse, that you might not want to hear from me at all. The reason for my silence isn't that I don't care, it's that I care too much. I'm afraid to face you after everything I did that caused you pain. I've hurt you before, and the thought of reopening that wound terrifies me. I've been punishing myself with that thought for so long, and yet I know that avoiding you doesn't make it better, it only makes the distance between us grow larger. Lately, I find it hard to focus on anything. Every small thing around me reminds me of you. A familiar song on the radio, a scent in the air, a place we once visited, they all bring your face rushing back into my mind. Even when I try to distract myself with work or friends, there's this quiet ache that follows me everywhere. It feels as though a part of me is missing, and no matter what I do, I can't fill that space. I want to make things right between us so badly, but I'm scared of saying or doing the wrong thing. I don't want to rush in out of desperation and make a bigger mess. I want to approach you with calmness, honesty, and a heart that has learned from its mistakes. More than anything, I want to talk to you face to face. There are things I need to say that can't be written in a message or conveyed through a phone call. I want you to see my eyes, to hear my voice, and to know that my words come from the deepest part of my heart. That's why I've decided to travel to you soon. This physical distance between us has become unbearable. It's like a constant reminder that I let something precious slip through my fingers. Every night, I lie awake thinking about what it would feel like to see you again, to close that distance, to be in the same space where we once shared laughter, love, and so many memories. Being apart from you has taught me how much you truly mean to me. Sometimes, you don't realize the depth of your love until you've lost the chance to express it. I don't want to live with that regret any longer. I believe, deep down, that we belong together. Not because everything between us was perfect, because it wasn't, but because even through the pain, confusion, and silence, my heart keeps finding its way back to you. You are my home, my calm, and my chaos all at once, and I can't ignore that truth anymore. I'm preparing myself to make a real, solid decision for both of us. No more hesitation, no more uncertainty. I know I've been juggling emotions, running in circles between fear and hope, but now I'm ready to face the truth. I want this union just as much as you do, maybe even more. I'm ready to take responsibility, to rebuild what was broken, and to give you the love you've always deserved. I understand it won't be easy. There's pain to be healed and trust to be rebuilt, and I know that words alone won't erase what happened in the past. But I'm not looking for perfection anymore. I'm looking for honesty, forgiveness, and a chance to grow together. I want to show you that I've changed, not because I lost you, but because losing you forced me to confront the parts of myself I had ignored. So here I am, trying to gather the courage to take that step toward you. I don't know what will happen when I see you, whether you'll be ready to talk or still need time, but I'm willing to take that risk. Because love like ours doesn't just fade, it lingers, waiting for a chance to be rekindled. And if there's even the smallest possibility of starting again, of rebuilding our story from a place of truth and love, then I'm ready to try. You have always been the one who stood beside me, and now I want to stand beside you. I'm ready to come toward you, not as the person I was, but as someone who has learned, grown, and finally understands what it means to truly love. As time continues to move forward, your partner finds themselves weighed down more and more by the burden of missing you. Each passing day seems to add another layer to the ache in their heart, a quiet but constant reminder of the emptiness your absence has left behind. They've begun to look back, to trace the steps that led to this distance, and in doing so, they can no longer deny a painful truth: they were the cause of their own downfall. What once seemed like a series of small choices, harmless at the time, now feel like a string of mistakes that built the wall separating the two of you. In the stillness of their reflections, your partner realizes that their bad luck in love was never fate's cruelty, but rather the consequence of their own actions. They see now how carelessly they treated something rare and beautiful. The love you offered was sincere, patient, and full of warmth, yet they failed to handle it with the care it deserved. Life since losing you has not simply been difficult, it has become a shadow of what it used to be. The colors have faded, the excitement of each day has dulled. They feel as though the world itself has shifted into a version they no longer recognize, one where happiness exists only in memories of you. They replay the moments in their mind, your laughter, your words, your quiet presence that once brought them peace, and each memory feels like both a gift and a punishment. It reminds them of the love they once had and of the pain they caused by letting it slip away. Regret now consumes them. They know you may never forgive them, and perhaps they do not deserve it. Yet still, the hope of redemption lingers like a fragile flame that refuses to go out, no matter how much the wind of reality blows against it. A broken heart has become their constant companion, the manifestation of all they lost. What hurts most is not just your absence but the realization that they only truly understood the depth of their feelings after you were gone. It is as if love itself waited until the end to reveal its true nature to them, both beautiful and devastating. They once believed they were in control, that love was something they could measure, contain, or even walk away from when convenient. But now they see that love was never meant to be treated so casually. Your partner sees clearly how they treated the relationship as though it were just one of many options. They thought they had time to figure things out, time to decide, time to come back to you when they were ready. But love, they've learned too late, is not something that waits indefinitely. What they once dismissed as ordinary was, in truth, a divine opportunity, something rare and sacred. They lost not just you, but the version of themselves that only existed when they were with you, the version that was softer, kinder, and full of light. The greatest lie they ever told you was that they didn't care as much as you thought they did. They put up walls, acted distant, and pretended to be unaffected. In reality, they were overflowing with emotion, overwhelmed by feelings they didn't know how to handle. It was easier to hide behind indifference than to admit how deeply they were falling. That lie, they now understand, was not only to protect themselves but also the beginning of the end. Because love cannot survive in an environment of half-truths and emotional cowardice. Now, every attempt to reach out becomes a struggle. They pick up their phone, open a blank message, and begin to type, sometimes a long confession, sometimes just a simple "I miss you." But before they can send it, fear creeps in. Fear that you've moved on, fear that you'll ignore them, fear that it's too late. So they delete the message, close their eyes, and sit in silence, the words they can't say lingering in their chest like a weight too heavy to bear. Life without you has become a landscape of emptiness. The things that once brought them joy now feel meaningless. Friends notice the change, laughter doesn't come as easily, and smiles no longer reach their eyes. They go through the motions of living, but their heart isn't in it. There's an ache that doesn't fade with time, a void that only grows deeper the more they try to fill it with distractions or new experiences. They are haunted by the thought that they pushed away the one person who truly saw them, who loved them without condition. They are sorry, truly and deeply sorry, for their hurtful behavior, for the careless words, for the times they made you feel unimportant or unloved. They wish they could go back, undo the pain, and show you the love they now recognize so clearly within themselves. But time, as they've learned, is unforgiving. The past cannot be rewritten, only accepted. Still, they hope that one day, in some small way, you might understand that their mistakes were not born out of malice, but out of fear of vulnerability, of being hurt, of not being enough. In the quiet moments of their solitude, they whisper apologies to the wind, hoping somehow those words might reach you. They dream of second chances, of a future where they can prove their love with actions instead of empty promises. Whether or not that future ever comes to pass, they know one thing with certainty: losing you has taught them more about love, regret, and the fragility of the human heart than anything else ever could.